Picture this, you're 72, passport in hand, ready to conquer Europe like it's 1969. But 3 days in, your knees are negotiating a peace treaty with your cobblestone enemy, and your back just issued a formal complaint. Traveling after 70 isn't about giving up adventures, it's about outsmarting the sneaky stuff your travel agent forgot to mention. Deep vein thrombosis, the silent flight threat. Let's talk about that cozy little economy seat you used to tolerate back in the day. Now, it's less comfort on a budget and more pretzel simulator for seniors. But beyond the aches and leg cramps, long-haul flights come with a hidden danger that travel brochures never mention: deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. DVT is no joke. It's a potentially life-threatening condition where blood clots form in your deep leg veins due to long periods of inactivity. People over 65 are at significantly higher risk, especially on flights over 4 hours. According to the CDC, sitting still in a cramped seat slows circulation, thickens the blood, and gives those clots the perfect storm to form. Sometimes there are no warnings, just a mild ache that turns into something far more serious. I spoke to a 74-year-old traveler who thought he was just tight from travel. Turns out he had a clot that nearly reached his lungs by the time he got to the ER. The man was one sightseeing tour away from disaster. So how do you outwit this airborne menace? First, compression socks. Not just for your grandpa anymore, these medical-grade beauties help push blood back towards your heart, keeping things flowing. The American Heart Association says they work, period. 2. Medication emergencies. Far from home. Imagine this. You're in a beautiful remote village in Greece. The sea breeze is blowing through your linen shirt, and suddenly, chest pain. Panic sets in. You don't know where the nearest hospital is, the pharmacist doesn't speak English, and worse, the meds you rely on daily aren't available, or worse, banned. This isn't a plot twist from a travel drama, it's a reality for many seniors. As we age, most of us rely on regular medications to keep things like blood pressure, cholesterol, or arthritis in check. But those prescriptions, they don't always travel well. Different countries have different regulations, names, and availability for the very meds you take for granted at home. One seasoned traveler shared her horror story from Southeast Asia. She lost her luggage, including her heart medication, on day 2 of a 3-week trip. What followed was a week-long marathon of translation issues, doctor appointments, and failed pharmacy visits. Not exactly the adventure she signed up for. Here's how to avoid turning your vacation into a pharmaceutical scavenger hunt. First, never put medications in checked baggage. Always carry them on with you. Flights get delayed. Bags go missing. Don't gamble with your health. Second, bring more than you need, at least an extra week's supply. Weather delays and illness can easily stretch a trip. Third, carry a printed list of all your medications with generic names and dosages. International brand names differ wildly, but the active ingredient like metoprolol is your golden ticket. And lastly, travel insurance with medical coverage isn't optional after 70. It's mandatory. Because if something goes wrong, you want backup that speaks your language and your pharmacy. 3. Cognitive overload in unfamiliar environments. You've just landed in Tokyo. The signs are in kanji. The announcements sound like they're coming from inside a tin can, and there's a sea of people flowing in every direction like an over-caffeinated river. Suddenly, just figuring out which way is baggage claim feels like trying to decode the Enigma machine. Welcome to cognitive overload, the hidden travel stressor that creeps in once you're over 70. Even if you're sharp as ever, the brain naturally slows down how fast it processes new information. That's not a flaw, it's biology. It means that when you're bombarded with fast-changing environments, foreign languages, unfamiliar signs, and tight deadlines, your brain starts to feel like it's running on dial-up internet. And when that mental fatigue hits, it's not just annoying, it's dangerous. Decision-making gets slower. You forget your hotel address, you overpay for a taxi, you walk into the wrong train station. One 73-year-old traveler I met said it best: "I wasn't confused, I was just overloaded. Every task felt like solving a riddle." So what do? First, give your brain breaks. Don't book back-to-back activities. Add buffer time between flights, tours, and check-ins. You're not a contestant on The Amazing Race. Second, let tech do the heavy lifting. Download translation apps, preload maps, and hotel directions. Keep printed travel details handy because batteries die and Wi-Fi disappears when you need it most. And finally, plan mental rest days. Skip the museum. Find a quiet cafe. People watch. Let your brain wander, not race. Because the goal isn't just to arrive, it's to arrive with your sanity intact. 4. Weakened immune systems and infection risks. Airports, that magical place where dreams begin. And germs party like it's spring break in Cancun. After 70, your immune system isn't quite the warrior it used to be. It's more like a grumpy security guard who sometimes forgets to check IDs at the gate. That means infections that once felt like a nuisance can now knock you off your feet. Travel throws your system into chaos. Time zone changes, different foods, sleep disruption, stress. It all chips away at your body's ability to defend itself. Throw in crowded tourist sites, recirculated airplane air, and buffet breakfast lines, and you've got a petri dish of potential problems. One study found that older adults are significantly more vulnerable to respiratory infections and stomach bugs while traveling. That harmless-looking hotel buffet could be the reason you spend 2 days learning Italian from the inside of your bathroom. But fear not, you don't need to travel in a hazmat suit. You just need to be smart. First, talk to your doctor before you go. Ask if a backup antibiotic is a good idea, like ciprofloxacin or azithromycin. Having it in your bag can turn a miserable detour into a manageable delay. Second, bring hand sanitizer and use it like it's cologne. Before eating, after touching railings, ATMs, airplane trays, you get the idea. Third, choose clean restaurants, wash your hands constantly, and don't be shy about asking if the tap water is safe. Your trip should be remembered for sunsets and pasta, not fevers and pharmacies, so protect that immune system, because nothing ruins a gondola ride like explosive regret. 5. Social isolation and cultural overwhelm. You've made it to that postcard-perfect Parisian cafe. The croissants are golden, the street musicians are playing, and the air smells like butter and nostalgia. But you're sitting there, alone, and suddenly the Eiffel Tower doesn't sparkle quite as bright. Let's talk about something travel brochures never mention: social isolation when you're abroad. At home, everything is familiar: your language, your coffee shop, your people. But once you're thousands of miles away, every little task requires effort. Ordering food feels like a performance. Asking directions is a game of charades. For seniors, this emotional fatigue can sneak up fast. One traveler told me, "I wasn't scared, I just felt invisible." It's something psychologists call cultural retreat, when travelers start skipping interactions and retreat to their rooms, overwhelmed and disconnected. But here's the cure: intentional connection and familiarity. Before your trip, learn a few phrases in the local language. A simple "hello," "please," or "thank you" can unlock real warmth from locals. Set up regular video chats with family or friends. That tiny lifeline to home can remind you you're still part of a bigger world. Stay longer in fewer places. The more time you spend in one spot, the more familiar it becomes. And don't underestimate group activities or senior tours, because travel is meant to stretch you, not break you. 6. Increased vulnerability to crime. Let's face it, Hollywood doesn't cast 70-year-olds as the ones escaping pickpockets in a high-speed chase. And unfortunately, real-life criminals notice that too. Older travelers are often seen as easier targets. Why? Slower movements, hesitating in public spaces, pulling out paper maps, or looking visibly confused. All of it signals to pickpockets and scammers. But here's the good news: you don't have to be Jason Bourne to stay safe. You just need to look like you know what you're doing. Invest in smart gear. A money belt tucked under your clothes or a crossbody anti-theft bag isn't just for tourists, it's for peace of mind. Stick to well-lit areas, especially at night. And yes, sometimes it's worth it to spend a little more for a safer neighborhood or a guided tour. Bottom line, you don't need to be paranoid, just prepared, because looking confident, even when you're faking it, might just be your best travel insurance. 7. Physical demands and slower recovery time. let's talk about something no travel agency will ever put in their brochure. Stairs. Ancient winding, knee-crushing stairs. The kind built by people centuries ago who apparently didn't believe in handrails or the concept of even footing. When you're 70 plus, even something as innocent as a cobblestone street can become an obstacle course. You might have crushed 10,000 steps a day in your 40s. But now, just walking through a historic city center can feel like you're doing an Olympic triathlon without the medal or the cheering fans. The truth is, your body recovers slower after exertion as you age. Here's how to outsmart the strain. First, space out your itinerary. Don't pack museums, markets, and cathedrals into a single day. Give yourself breathing room to actually enjoy what you're seeing, not just survive it. Build in rest days. Yes, literal do-nothing days where you lounge in a piazza or float in a hotel pool. These are not wasted time. They're fuel stops for your body. Start preparing before your trip. Walk more, climb stairs, carry light weights. Think of it as a training camp for your vacation. And when in doubt, splurge wisely. That hotel with an elevator, worth it. A guided tour with shuttle stops instead of a 4-mile walk? Absolutely. You're not giving up adventure. You're making sure you can actually enjoy it. The truth is, travel doesn't get worse with age. It just gets different. You've got to be a little smarter, a little slower, and a lot more intentional. But your ability to explore, that never has to retire. And hey, if you've got your own stories, disasters, surprises, or genius tips, drop them in the comments. You never know who your experience might help. If this video helped you feel more confident about jetting off in your golden years, hit that like button, subscribe to Journey Tips, and share this with a fellow traveler who needs to hear it. Let's turn that bucket list into a travel log together. Thanks for watching. Safe travels, my friend, and remember, age doesn't close doors. It just changes how you walk through them.